Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit more short-term technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets, and more specifically, I want to explain why I believe a bullish Bitcoin breakout will be coming to Bitcoin here within the next 3 days or so. As you guys can see, it's not all that confusing as to why I believe this. It looks like Bitcoin has been very bullish here for the last couple of days, and at the time of recording this video, Bitcoin is testing a couple of important levels of resistance. This downtrend being the downtrend from the bump and run reversal pattern video we did, and this level of resistance being one that Bitcoin has tested multiple times here over the last couple of weeks. If Bitcoin does manage to break both of these, we're likely going to see a lot of bullish exuberance and Bitcoin moving to the upside in a very major way here coming over the next couple of days. In this video, I don't just want to talk about a bullish Bitcoin breakout, though. I want to discuss the bearish technicals that Bitcoin is looking at, the bullish technicals that Bitcoin is looking at, and from there try to extrapolate what exactly Bitcoin is going to do over the next couple of days. Is Bitcoin going to run all the way up to $6,000? And from there, is it going to break it? Is it going to reject off of it? Where is Bitcoin go? What is Bitcoin going to do? That is the question for today's video, and we'll be discussing that at length here in this video. From there, we also have a bit of news coming from the Binance coin. You guys are probably familiar with Binance. We actually have a video on that in CT2A. Binance coin is one of the only cryptocurrencies to hit all-time high since 2017 when Bitcoin hit all-time high on December 16th. Very, very interesting thing. I want to talk about Binance coin a little bit, and I want to talk about the hegemony of Binance, how Binance has continued to rally and grow, the Binance coin and Binance, the exchange. And I want to talk about the concerns that we may have about these massive monopolistic centralized exchanges moving on into the future of Bitcoin. We've talked about that in a couple of videos, but I want to continue discussing it because it is going to be an issue that I don't think people are giving enough attention at the moment. So we'll be discussing that a little bit later. Before we get into the video, also, I do want to mention that there is a sale running on the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy for Easter. That sale starts today. The coupon code is Easter 2019. That'll give you 20% off the course price. We'll be uploading 5 new videos to the course, one on every weekday of the coming week. We'll be discussing that a little bit more later on in the video, guys. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and get right on into it. By the way, mention in the comment section down below if you like the new style we have where you can't see the taskbar at the top. Bit of a distraction, but anyway. Bitcoin is currently trading around $5,325 at the time of recording this video, and like I said, it's up here testing a couple levels of resistance. The first one, of course, would be this downtrend that we've been discussing here on the channel, this downtrend right here. Seemingly a pretty important one, especially if we're to believe that the bump and run reversal pattern is going to be significant for Bitcoin and that it could kick off a major rally for Bitcoin. Definitely a level of resistance I'd be looking at no matter what. And also the other level of resistance that we're looking at is this flat level of resistance of around $5,325. We want to see Bitcoin break both of these if Bitcoin is to go on a rally. If we want to see Bitcoin start a rally, it's going to have to get through both of these. And as we can see, Bitcoin is trying to do that right now. And as I've talked about in so many videos in the past, oftentimes Bitcoin will come up and test a level over and over and over again right before it breaks it. If it's a strong level, and this is most certainly a strong level, these are not the only 2 levels of resistance we're dealing with. I'll show you a couple others later on in the video. One of them will be the 400 daily exponential moving average. We'll talk about that in a second. This is not the only resistance we're looking at, but a lot of times right before Bitcoin breaks bullish above a very major, very strong level of resistance, like I say, we talk about that in the strength of support and resistance in CT2A. Right before Bitcoin goes and breaks one of those levels, oftentimes they'll test it over and over and over and over again, and we've been doing that for the last couple of weeks, especially the last 48 hours or so. That is indicative that we're probably about to see a bullish breakout. One thing I do want to mention, though, is the bearish side. Like I said, in today's video, we're not just going to be talking about the bullish case for Bitcoin. I also want to lay out the bearish case, because there's always a chance that Bitcoin falls over, and one of the first things that comes to mind when I talk about the bullish case, the bearish case, would actually be this ascending wedge right here. As you guys may or may not know, ascending wedge patterns are typically bearish. Typically, whichever direction the ascending wedge is pointing, if it's pointing to the upside, you're going to break out of it to the downside. This is actually something we cover in the video here in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy on wedges and pennants right there. We talk about wedges and pennants, which we're in both of those right now at the moment on Bitcoin. Very valuable video. If you're in the course, make sure you watch that video. But either way, this is typically a bearish pattern, and especially is it a bearish pattern if we look at the RSI. A lot of people have been talking about this, and they've been talking about it because it's important. Here on the hourly chart, the RSI is trending to the downside, and Bitcoin is, of course, making higher highs. That is what is known as classical Bitcoin Rsi Divergence, and that is typically a bearish pattern. Those two patterns together may be strong enough to cause Bitcoin to reject off of this resistance and come down, test support. But If Bitcoin does that, I don't see a very major reason why Bitcoin should break bearish here. I think Bitcoin would come back up and test this resistance once again. So keep that in mind. Those two factors may push Bitcoin to the downside, but if they do, we'll probably bounce right back up and start moving to the upside once again. And to be totally honest, with the way Bitcoin is looking right now, it doesn't look like those two patterns are going to be all that bearish for Bitcoin, and it doesn't look like they're going to crash Bitcoin like they may if Bitcoin wasn't as bullish. The next thing I want to discuss are other levels of resistance that Bitcoin is currently looking at. One of them is, of course, that 400 daily exponential moving average that I discussed earlier on in the video. Actually, someone in the comment section of a video a couple days ago pointed this out to me. They talked about the 500 exponential moving average. I changed it to the 400 exponential moving average so that it would be a little bit more we'd be able to understand it a little bit better, because a 400 is 2 times 20, etc. But as we can see here, the 400 exponential moving average is actually giving us pretty strong resistance right now. It's lined up almost perfectly with that level of resistance that we've been discussing in the last couple of videos. That's an important level of resistance, and as you guys know, resistance tells you two things. One, if you reject off of it, it's bearish. Two, if you break it, it's bullish. So I'm not really going to do a whole lot of analysis on that. You guys understand the importance of resistance on moving averages, but this is, as I've talked about in previous videos, an important moving average. If you go back on the BLX exchange chart and look back into history, this does have a history of being an important moving average that you do want to look at, that I don't really see anyone talking about. The next moving average that I want to discuss would actually be the Bollinger Bands. Let's go ahead and grab these. I want to bring these up, and I misspelled Bollinger Bands. Let's try and do that again. If we look at the Bollinger Bands, what we're going to see here out on the weekly chart is that Bitcoin bearishly is very overextended on them, like ridiculously overextended. Let's go to another chart so we can see a little bit cleaner. Bitcoin is outside of the Bollinger Bands right now. And guys, you can interpret this two ways as well. Bitcoin has not been outside the bullish side of the Bollinger Bands the entire bear market. So this is actually a bullish sign, and this does mean that there's likely a lot of bullishness to come in the near-term future, in the long-term future, because Bitcoin has broken this for the first time since the bear market began. This is kind of a turning point in the market. Like I've been saying, this time period in the market is a crucial point. We want to see Bitcoin do some specific things, and if Bitcoin doesn't, it may be bad, but this is very bullish in the long term. On the short term, though, this is a bearish indicator and should indicate that Bitcoin is either going to fall over or it's going to trade sideways as the Bollinger Bands open up and Bitcoin kind of trade sideways into them. Either way, not a bullish sign. Now, that's pretty much all the bearishness I need to show you in today's video, because Bitcoin is actually rather bullish right now. I know it seems weird, I just showed you bearish stuff. Bitcoin seems rather bullish right now. I wanted to get the bearish stuff out of the way so that you guys understand that there is a counter argument to what I'm saying here, but I think the argument for the bulls is the stronger one, and let me explain to you exactly why. If we look at the weekly chart here, guys, MACD on the weekly chart is ridiculously bullish. Let's go ahead and get stochastic RSI back up. Let's go ahead and get it. Stochastic RSI. I want to show you guys weekly stochastic RSI. That is one final bearish indicator, actually. This is showing that Bitcoin should fall over to the downside. But stochastic RSI and RSI can be ignored for a very long time. One thing that is typically either a bullish or a bearish thing in the moment is MACD. Bullish MACD is very, very bullish here on the weekly chart. On the daily chart, as you can see, MACD is actually bearish, but if we were to break to the upside, and we do follow some of these other technicals I'll be showing you in today's video, very quickly this would break bullish, and we would see when Bitcoin broke bullish that the MACD would also cross bullish. That's an important thing to keep in mind. Another thing I want to mention is actually something that Carl from the Moon mentioned in his video that I've talked about a lot on the channel, but I haven't talked about in quite some time. If you guys aren't subscribed to him, go watch his content. He's a good guy. But in his video, he talked about the Fibonacci retracement levels, and I didn't even think about looking at that right now, but I did do a video probably 6 months ago. Guys, I do a video every single day, so finding this video would be very hard, but I did do a video where I was talking about this. Whenever you look at the market here on Bitcoin, back over here in 2018, what you see is that Bitcoin tends to rally up to the 61.8% Fibonacci level. He talked about this in his video, and I mentioned it. I didn't mention it. I did an entire video on it several months ago. Whenever you see Bitcoin go up to a rally, right over here, we'd run to the 61.8% Fibonacci level. As you can see, this rally to this rally, 61.8% retracement. This rally to this rally, same thing. And what we see here is that every time Bitcoin would go on a rally back here, Bitcoin will run up to the 61.8% Fibonacci level. I remember where I was talking about. I was talking about it during this rally, and I was saying exactly where Bitcoin would go. It'd go up here to around $7,500 and then fall over. And that's almost exactly what happened. If you want to go back and watch that video, go back to videos I uploaded early September of 2018. If you want to go that far back, I was discussing this. But Carl mentioned that we're actually seeing a similar thing happen right now. If we go ahead and drag our Fibonacci levels out, what we're seeing is that Bitcoin is actually above the 61.8% Fibonacci level. And if you guys are in the course, you will know that there is a video in the course called Market Structure. Market structure is a very, very, very important part of technical analysis. I cannot stress enough how important market structure is in technical analysis. And as I talked about in that video so many months ago, Bitcoin has some market structure where it will run up in every consecutive rally to the 61.8% Fibonacci level. It will rally to that and then it will fall over. If Bitcoin breaks that and does break above the 61.8% Fibonacci level, that would be a break of market structure. A bullish break of market structure, which indicates that long-term market sentiment, which is actually the first video that will be going up in CT2A on Monday, that means that long-term market sentiment is shifting, and in this case, it's shifting to the bullish side. That is a very major move if something like that happens. And guys, we've seen a lot of market structure break bullish here over the last month. This is another example of that. The other reason that this is significant is because if Bitcoin does break to the upside here, this actually gives us our next level of resistance. Of course, we have some resistance here in between about $5,400, right around here because of this trading over here. That's not very major though. That's not all that much price action. We'll probably blast right through that if we do move to the upside. But this does show us where our next level of resistance might be here around $5,800. And in fact, there's actually two ways that you can draw this Fibonacci level. You can draw it from that high or you can draw it from that high. Either way, Bitcoin is getting resistance currently on a Fibonacci level, in this case on the 0.5% Fibonacci level, and then the next level of resistance would be the 61.8% Fibonacci level here at $5,800. Both of these scenarios show that Bitcoin is currently getting resistance on a Fibonacci level, and they both show that future resistance is going to be at $5,800. So if Bitcoin does break to the upside, watch out for $5,800. It's right around $6,000, so we would see that be a level of resistance anyway, but you do want to keep that in mind. Guys, there are many other technical indicators that we can get into. One of the last things I want to talk about is the market sentiment itself. That's one of the reasons why there's a market sentiment video going up in CT2A. That video will be up on Monday. It's already uploaded. I'm just going to release it on Monday so that we can have a little bit of consistency. That video, I discuss about how it's important to understand the overall sentiment of the market, the overall group market sentiment, as it's called. What does everybody think about the market? Right now, the majority of people in the cryptocurrency space are bullish, and the people that aren't bullish are not bearish in the long term. What they think, many of them, and I'm not putting words in anyone's mouth, I'm quoting many people, they're saying that Bitcoin is going to move to the upside, then we're going to have a correction. Some people are calling this a wave 5 Elliott wave correction. Then we're going to have another rally to the upside, and from there, the Bitcoin bull market will start. So in the long term, pretty much everybody seems to agree that Bitcoin is almost out of the bull market. And while it is valuable to look at the market through a contrarian lens sometimes and say that 80% of people are going to be wrong, at the same time, that often ignores when many people are right. I don't take offense. I take a problem with people saying that, oh, well, everybody believes this, so the opposite must happen. That's the wrong way of looking at the contrarian ideology and the contrarian technical analysis perspective. That's not how you want to do that. What you want to do with the contrarian perspective is look for where everybody is moving to the upside. Let's say Bitcoin is on a massive rally here at the end of 2017. Everybody's very bullish on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's running up to $20,000. Everybody's bullish. This is the time you want to be contrarian, when the technicals are not in their favor. Not in a time like right now. Right now, guys, the technicals are quite bullish. I've shown you some bearish technicals. I've discussed some bullish technicals. I've shown a lot more bullish technicals that we just don't have time to get to in today's video, despite me talking at 1,000 words a minute. Either way, Bitcoin does seem like it's going to break bullish here. I don't think we need to break bearish. There is a lot of bullish sentiment in the market right now, and just because there's bullish sentiment does not mean we need to go to the downside. Oftentimes, people ignore when the market sentiment and the market direction line up, and they only focus on when those two contrast, and then they call themselves contrarians. But you want to be careful about doing that. Oftentimes, it's a good idea to jump on the bandwagon and be bullish when everyone else is bullish. And right now, many people are bullish, and because they're bullish, they're buying Bitcoin, and that's going to push Bitcoin to the upside. Based on all the technicals that we've discussed in today's video, based on the direction of the market, based on the fact that Bitcoin is in an ascending triangle pattern, a bullish pennant, and let alone is in a bullish pennant, it's in a pennant alone for a bullish breakout, let alone all these technical indicators, the bullish MACD cross that we'll see on the daily chart, the bullish MACD on the weekly chart, all of these indicators, I think that we're going to see a bullish break to the upside in Bitcoin in the next couple of days. And judging by how close we are to this level of resistance, I think it's going to be very, very soon. With all that said, let's discuss it here to wrap up where exactly Bitcoin is going to go with a breakout like that. How far will Bitcoin rally? Well, I talked about a level of resistance earlier, around $5,800. And based on market history, we do have a little bit of resistance at around $5,600. I'll go ahead and show you that. But honestly, there's not a whole lot of resistance before $6,000, guys. There is a little bit of resistance right over here As you can see right over here where Bitcoin was trading, bit of resistance around $5,500 to $5,600. Not a whole lot. I'll stop moving the chart here for 2 seconds so you can see right here around $5,600 is going to be a level of resistance. Likewise, $5,800 because of those 2 Fibonacci levels I showed you is going to be a level of resistance. And before that, guys, it's $6,000. I don't think that Bitcoin is. I don't think it's impossible for Bitcoin to rally all the way to $6,000 in some kind of move like that. That being said, I don't think that Bitcoin is going to break $6,000 just yet. We'll have to see what happens when we get there. Maybe we have enough exuberance to do it. I think we're going to jump straight up to these price levels and we're going to try and get through them, and then we'll go up and test $6,000. I don't think we're going through $6,000 just yet. I still do believe that we could be in for one more correction before that happens. If not, that's okay. If we break $6,000, my hat's off. We're going on a bull market. It seems that it will be starting if we break 6K. Anyway, guys, from there, what I think is going to happen is we're going to test one of these levels of resistance, and slightly more likely than a bull market starting, Bitcoin will fall over, and then from there, we'll start a bull market in a couple of months. We'll see what happens. It's very possible we start a bull market in May. That could happen. I don't think it's what's most likely. But like I've said, guys, we'll discuss that a little bit more when the time comes. Speaking of when the time comes, let's go ahead and discuss Binance Coin. Binance Coin is one of the only cryptos to hit all-time high since 2017. This is going to be brief, but I do want to bring this up because this is an important part of our fundamental analysis. On April 19th, following the highly anticipated debut of the Binance Chain mainnet, the price of Binance Coin surged by 10% against the US dollar, becoming the second crypto asset after EOS in May of 2018. Yes, I remember that. Since 2017 to achieve an all-time high. Let's go ahead and check that out. BNB over USD. BNB over USD, as calculated by Binance, has actually gone and broken all-time high, at least very, very shortly. Not for a very long time. This has been a very short-lived thing. We basically double topped up here around $26 on Binance Coin. As we can see, if we come out here to the daily chart, so the chart will load. But either way, we can see that Binance ran all the way up here back at the beginning of 2018. Bitcoin, I remember this vividly. Binance Coin blew up just a couple months after this, right around the time that Ethereum and many other cryptocurrencies were hitting all-time high. Binance did as well. It ran all the way to $26. Gigantic rally here. Binance ran something like 2,000%, depending on where you draw that from. And over the last couple of months here in 2019, Binance Coin has run a lot as well, up 337%, guys. That is a major run here in 2017. And definitely something that should not be ignored. Binance Coin has come up and not broken all-time high, but tested all-time high. As you can see, we basically double-topped here at the moment, and that may be broken in the future depending on what Binance does. But the main reason I'm bringing this up is not because of the achievement that Binance has made. Good on you, Binance, CZ, great exchange. I use Binance, and I do talk about Binance, in fact, in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, how to set up and use Binance if you're wondering how to use the interface. But the main reason I'm discussing Binance Coin in this video is because I want to talk about the hegemony of the cryptocurrency exchanges. I talked about this in a couple of videos, and I started discussing this after Craig Wright and his Bitcoin SV got delisted from Binance, which honestly may have been part of this exuberance, people buying into Binance because they were happy about that. But the main reason I want to discuss this is because of that hegemony. What happens when a couple of cryptocurrency exchanges become the monopolies or the duopolies or the triopolies of the cryptocurrency markets, and they are controlled by people like CZ. And by the way, I'm not saying that in a derogatory sense. I like CZ, but I'm saying when they're controlled by people who have the ability to go on Twitter and say, I don't like you, I'm going to delist your cryptocurrency. Boom, your cryptocurrency basically doesn't even exist now because no one can buy it except for trading it from peer-to-peer. What happens when we have 2, 3, 4, 5 cryptocurrency exchanges? All of the people that run them know each other and they all talk behind the scenes. What happens when we have that kind of monopoly? What, is the government going to come in and save us, guys? We're a self-governing community. The government doesn't really have a whole lot of say on what goes on in the cryptocurrency space, nor do they seem to have a whole lot of interest in having a say in what goes on in the cryptocurrency space, at least for now. It's important that we keep in mind that even though Binance delisting Bitcoin SV seems to have been a good thing, and even though Binance running up to all-time high is a good thing, even though these things are happening, we want to keep in mind that we do want to keep not relying on, but looking forward to decentralized exchanges so that we don't have to worry about these kind of monopolies that we see in the internet right now. For example, Google, Amazon, Netflix, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. There's less than 10 major names in the internet space, and we don't want the same thing to happen in the cryptocurrency space when the entire foundational principle of cryptocurrency and the blockchain and the decentralized community is just that. Decentralization. We don't want to have those kind of monopolies form, so this is something that we want to keep an eye out for. I know I've talked about that in previous videos, but I wanted to mention it again because it's just that important. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much going to do it for today's video, but I do want to mention the sale going on CT2A, because as you guys know, we've run a sale in the last couple of weeks. We had nearly 60 of you guys join CT2A within a week. Last week, about 2 weeks ago, we had a ton of you guys join with a 20% off coupon, so let's go ahead and do that again. There's a coupon code in the description down below, Easter 2019, and the main reason I'm running this sale is because I wanted to add 5 new videos to the course, and I wanted to make sure you guys were aware of it. So starting on Monday, there will be 5 new videos going up in the course. The first video that will be going up is market sentiment. The second video that will be going up has to do with golden crosses and death crosses, which I think is especially pertinent considering we're seeing golden crosses right now on Bitcoin. And from there, we'll be launching more videos as the week goes on. Guys, we have seen hundreds of people go through the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. By the way, we have a no questions asked 14-day refund policy. Hundreds of people gone through the course. Not a single person has ever complained about the course or gotten a refund. Not one. We've had hundreds of people go through, no questions asked refund policy within the first 14 days. If you watch less than 30% of the course material, because by then I figure you ought to know if you want to have the course or not. We've never had a single refund. Not one person. I think that tells you something right there. I could literally go into Premiere Pro after I'm done recording this video, my editing software, and put dozens of testimonials from people that love this course up on screen. I could do that. It wouldn't be that big a deal, but I think you guys get the point. We've had hundreds of people go through. Let me give you an example of what I mean. If you're in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, because whenever I run these sales, people talk about it in the comment section. If you're in CT2A, what I want you to do is go down into the comment section and tell me what you think of the course. I'm not telling you to say good things about it. I'm not telling you to say bad things about it. I want an honest review of the course in the comment section down below. If you're in the course, tell people what you think. Tell them, because I think it's a good product. You guys have told me time and time again you think it's a good product. If you want to learn how to do cryptocurrency technical analysis, this is the course you need to have, and it's very, very fairly priced. I've heard that from dozens of people. They say that they joined the course specifically because of the fair price. And by the way, guys, the course is massively underpriced. I could sell this course for $497. People do it all the time, and it would make just as many sales because people understand the importance of understanding how to do technical analysis. So anyway, guys, that's going to pretty much wrap up today's video. That sale will be running for about a week. So if you can't get into it today, no problem. That sale will be going on. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. That link is in the description. Click the link at checkout. You will be able to use that coupon code for 20% off. Either way, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.